Start money. Okay, I'll get started.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and thanks for giving your time today. And this is going to be the series of webinars that we wanted to do, and pretty much we are starting with this one. And so we want to talk a little bit about how the economy is, and then what's going on with the analytics side of the business and how they can make use of the better efficiency patterns. So we wanted to combine the current state of the economy and how it affects the businesses and what they can do to get up to speed and survive in this whole economy, right? So pretty much that's a goal. So we named it as from data to dollars. Of course, everyone wanted to understand their ways to save money from the business standpoint. And pretty much we're going to talk more about how the cloud data engineering can drive the bottom line, which is the better efficient finances. We'll go to the next one. Okay, speakers, myself, Lakshman. So I'll be kickstarting some of the slides. And then we have our specialist speakers from the data vertical, Manikandan, our director of data, and then Vijay Anand, our associate data engineer. Pretty much they bring a wealthy of experience in the data space. So you will be hearing some of the greater insights. And of course, as I said, this is the first of few webinars that we are starting, and there's a lot more to come. And we'll be adding more speakers and more data specialists, the industry experts, outsiders. So we will see a lot happening in this webinar series. We can move on to the next one. So what are we really going to discuss, right? So why are we talking about this? Navigating the economic challenges is one of the top item in any business mind these days. And of course, every one of us are hearing something or other these days. Business is going through hardship because of what is happening outside their ecosystem, or there is panic around because the financial institutions are failing, or the COVID interruptions that has happened a year ago, which is still having its own ripple effects. And of course, every single thing is affecting the money the businesses are making. So everybody want to sail through this. Nobody want to fail from the business standpoint. A retail organization, say, is sitting in the central part of the US. Of course, they'll be going through their hardship now, and they definitely want to make use of some of the best innovations to make better decisions these days. And historically, the hard conditions that the world has seen has always produced the innovations. So pretty much the businesses want to survive, and they want to have some ways to understand this better, put some measures around so that they can survive. Of course, this is a small hump, and they definitely want to go forward and then build it. So we wanted to talk about the cloud data analytics and how it can help with the economic challenges that they're having, and some of the success stories that we are seeing from the businesses. So our scope is going to be more of a small size business and the mid size business. So we wanted to understand how they have used the cloud data analytics for their betterment, and how they've improved their business insights, and how they made better decisions because they started with their cloud journey, cloud data analytics journey. And then value of partnering with QBrainX. Of course, we wanted to talk about what QBrainX can do for the business community, be it a small or mid-sized business. So we bring a lot more advantages in getting this done in a lot of efficiency parameters, be it the timing or the cost or the skill or the best practices. So we pack a lot of good stuff in our back. So we'll talk about that too. Let's move on to the next one. So what's happening nowadays, right? There are a lot of things going on. As I said, there is not just one or two. There is not just one problem that the world is speaking about. We are speaking about n number of problems every single day. And we saw the banks failing. And we saw the supply chain disruptions that was created during the COVID time. And then we are seeing the inflation, and we are also seeing the layoffs happening because companies couldn't afford their own pay cycles. So there's a lot many things are happening. So this is well observed and well recognized, and we wanted to make sure that the supply chain disruptions happening is something that the retail organizations can navigate to, can address that easily by adopting innovations. So as you could see, the supply chain disruptions are, they lack the resilience, and they also faltered during the cross-border disruptions. Very well known, if you'd have observed the COVID times, and seen that a lot. Retail organizations survive on the efficiency of supply chain. If something gets interrupted during the time of supply chain, it affects their neural network itself. So any challenges with the supply chain network is a big disruption, which is a big challenge for their own finances as well. And increase in the employee wages, we all can acknowledge that pretty much there's a 4.6% increase in the 2023, surpassing the 2022's 4.2% increase. There is a very good amount of inflation that is causing all these employee wages, and when that is being increased, and of course organizations will feel their pain of spending that money for the employees. And you could see what Amazon is doing, you could see what Meta is doing, and you could see any company, right? And you can look at the layoff trackers, and people are being sent out every single day. The reason is business want to save money. They definitely want to survive longer, and these are some of the quick remedies that they are putting together. These are the same companies that will also hire again, and they did a lot of hiring back in COVID. Now they are downsizing again. They will upsize also. So pretty much that's a trend. But what they can do to navigate the economic challenges is what we want to talk about. A very small segment of it, just the cloud data analytics side. But there's a lot of things that can happen in the enterprise application space, how they can make sure the IT and all. And it's very specific to the small and mid-sized business. So 25% of high-tech companies struggle to meet customer expectations. It is because of the heavy market competition, and compare with what we have seen 30 years ago versus what we see now. There is a good number of competition everywhere. Take a retail company, take a healthcare company, take a services company. Everyone has their own competition. So there is already economy challenges, and there is also a competition which is extrapolating every single day. So what kind of measures that they can take? They need to make better decisions. And every single small and mid-sized business in US or in Europe, they have, say for example, they are in the industry for 10-15 years. They would accumulate a lot of data, and it shows that okay, on this particular time of the period they did really well. Why did really well? So they have to understand that, and the analytics will help them to show more about okay, how what went correct, what went wrong, and what you could do better. So how to overcome these challenges? There are a lot of ways to overcome these challenges, but in the context of this webinar, we want to talk about how they can make better use of their data. Data is the heart of every single organization. There is no organization that you would see without accumulating the data. So it shouldn't be just a newspaper that is sitting on your garage, right? It should be used. So you have collected the data and they carry a lot of insights. So make better use of that. Build your own analytics, and then have your KPIs identified, and then have those KPIs tell you what is your next forecast. Um, so the unconnected data and the inadequate data precision. So this is one of the major problems the companies go through, the small and mid-sized business go through. Every organization these days use at least 5 different systems, for example. We are talking about a mid-sized business. If there is a large-sized business, an enterprise company or a Fortune 500 company, they have hundreds of systems. Our scope of discussion is not for the larger customers. We are talking about only the small and mid-sized customers. They will have their own CRM system. They'll have their own financial system, sales system, and all that. Are they integrated very well? No. As per our experience, we have seen most of the organizations stay disintegrated. They have their own data silos. So that's not going to help. Unless you integrate them together, you are not going to get a good insight. How is the data quality? We know that all the systems will have their own quality issues. And do we want to survive with that? And unqualified data will not give you a qualified insights. They don't help you. So you need to take care of the quality. Governance. So there's a lot of challenges with the way data is governed. Nobody cares a lot more about the data governance. Again, mid-sized business may think this is a overleft and they don't want to spend a lot of thought process in governance and all that. But there are ways to do that, and we will talk a little bit on that and in this webinar and also in the next few webinars. So how was this done in the legacy side? There were self-hosted systems a long time back, and we know there are challenges with the way that have been built, and the um, the application space or the IT space have been maturing. Every single day it is maturing, and we will see a lot of changes even in the next 15 years. A heavy disruption. One of the major disruption that has happened in the last 10-15 years is the cloud offering. And self-hosted systems do carry a lot of disadvantages, even though they carry some better metrics onto it, right? But they come for a cost. They need to spend money. A small business cannot afford to set up their own data center. They cannot have their own servers. They cannot have their own administrators. So they stay away from that. They shy away from spending that money. They shy away from spending that money for the administrators and all that. This is where self-hosted systems used to be better long time back. Now with the growth, now with the population, now with all the economic conditions, the self-hosted systems are not so great to adopt. And we could see pretty much see that everywhere. So modern cloud solutions, which is the response to it, which is what the organization want to adopt, and we are seeing it adopting. Pay as you go model, as simple as that. And any organization sitting anywhere across the world, they can stand up their own infrastructure in the matter of 2 days to 2 weeks. That's impossible in the world of self-hosted system. An on-prem system will never give that time, right? It takes its own sweet time to get there. Very cost effective, scalable, and flexible. So no need to say it is heavily democratized these days. You can never see an organization which doesn't adopt to cloud. But how far the small and mid-sized customers have adopted, that's where we want to pitch more about how they can adopt. So we'll be talking more about that. Better for business for of all sizes. So it is irrespective of what you make, what kind of revenue the businesses has. It is a one fit for all sizes. Resources, so server storage, databases, software applications. In the self-hosted systems, these are the number of servers that they need to have. Nowadays, it is the light-hand side of it. So all of it comes in a short time and for a better cost, and manages the infrastructure, right? The provider manages the infrastructure. Of course, AWS will be the primary maintenance domain for all the servers. We don't need to take the pain of that. So small business and the mid-sized business should definitely take all these advantages. That's what the modern cloud solutions will bring in. So we can move on to the next few sections, and Vijay will talk about in depth of the cloud data analytics.
Thank you, Lakshmi, for setting up the ground clearly. So good morning all. This is Vijay Anand. I am working as an associate data engineer here in QBrainX. Thank you for having me today. So far we have discussed about the challenges the SMBs and everywhere we are facing there, and then how we can face those challenges, how we can improve from them, and the differences between the self-hosted systems and the cloud systems here. So now we can talk about how we can implement all these things in the cloud data systems. So we can start how cloud data analytics will work, and then we can proceed how we can set up those things in the cloud platforms. So basically here in the cloud data analytics systems, we have to ingest the data from our disintegrated systems, either it from on-prem or it from cloud anywhere. We have to ingest data from our source systems into one integrated system, one platform. And then we have to process those data into valuable information. And then we have to get analysis of the data. We have to analyze what are the data trends we have followed. and we have to get more insights from the data we have got from our various systems. So based on that, we have to take decisions where we need to improve, and we have to do some predictions out of the data. So in that way, we can able to improve our business. So we have to analyze and we have to predict the data, so what we got from our source systems. So let us talk about an example here. So let us assume that we are running a retailer shop there, and we got day by day a lot of sales data coming into our business. So collecting all those data, analyzing it, and we have to find out, so in which season we got more sales and what type of product got sold mostly. So all type of analysis we have to do, and that is the only way we can able to improve our business based on analyzing all those systems. So that's how the cloud data analytics systems will work here. And we can talk about the step-by-step process and how we can implement them. So basically, first we need to collect the data from our disintegrated systems, either it from on-prem or it from our direct data sources from our systems. So the data might be structured, semi-structured, or unstructured. I don't want to get into more technical things, but it can be either any type of data. It may be a paper data. It can be from any Excel, any type of data. First, we need to collect and have to store it somewhere in our place. And then we need to prepare the data. We need to do some cleaning thing, integrating it, normalizing the data to one standard platform. So in that way, it will be perfect for doing analysis purpose. And then we need to store the data into our cloud system. So it should be like a centralized repository where we having a history of data. So only with those history of data, we can able to do some strong concrete analyzations, and we can able to predict the future things. And then once we collect the data into our cloud storage system, then we need to do some analyzations. So there are a lot of analyzation we can able to do. We can do some pie chart kind of thing, bar graph. And so with those analyzation, we can able to find out the latest trends from our data. And then we can able to visualize and see what type of data got sold in more times, and a lot of things we can able to do from the visualization things. And so this visualization might be a real time to the end users. So based on the dashboards, it might be useful for an end user. They can able to identify the latest trends as well. And then to the management, to the business, anyway, we have to report it, right? So the reporting and BA system, we will be building on top of this, all the things. So based on that, people talk with the management teams, and these are the trends our data is having. With those things, we can suggest them what we can do to improve our business. So this is a way we can able to step-by-step process in how we can do the cloud data analytics. And then what are all the tools available to that. So these are the process. Now we will talk about what are all the tools available in the cloud market here. So we all know about AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. So these are the big sharks available in the cloud platform systems. So each of them having their own uniqueness in their systems. So AWS is it is the most famously used everywhere, and Azure as well. So AWS is having its own features. It also all these cloud systems share the same features, but the functionality wise and the usage wise might get differ. And then so this is the cloud platforms, and then the data ingestion and processing. And the first step is like we have to ingest the data, right? So these are the tools. There are a number of tools available for ingesting and processing the data, but these are the tools are used most frequently in the market: Spark, Kafka, Snowflake, and Databricks. So Spark is just for like we have to collect the data, right? So collect the data need to be processed and transformed. So for that, we'll be using the Apache Spark things, and Kafka. So Kafka is like basically messaging system. It mostly used for the streaming messaging system part. So we'll be getting data from various systems, right? So Kafka will collect all those data into a streaming process, and those data will be collected and stored in somewhere in our repo. And then on top of the data, we will use Apache Spark to do transformation, and then we will pass to the analysis purposes. And here Snowflake and Databricks is used to store the data there. Snowflake is like a data warehouse system, right? So there we'll be storing all our data. And in the data warehouse system in Snowflake, we will building some analysis tool, be able to connect Tableau, Power BI, Looker. So these are the data analysis tool, pretty fast used in the analysis purposes. There are a number of tools out there: IBM Cognos, and there are a lot more tools available for data analysis purpose. But Tableau, Power BI, and Looker are most predominantly used there. So in Snowflake data warehouse system, we can able to connect Tableau, Power BI, and Looker, and then those data we can able to analyze it and we can able to predict it. And here Databricks. So this is where we can able to perform all the ETL kind of things. So Databricks will have machine learning, data engineering, and data SQL as well. So it's a whole lot of package where we can able to address all these things: processing, analyzing, and doing machine learning. And next thing is the Tableau Power BI Looker, which is used predominantly for the analysis purposes. And here for the machine learning. So why we need to for machine learning? The data might be used for doing some prediction kind of thing. For example, if we need to find out in which season my product will get sell most with the previous data. So we need to feed all type of data, all type of scenarios of data, a kind of data sampling data. So we need to feed to our machine learning system. So based on that, we can able to do some predictions over there. So this is the tools and the infrastructure available in the market as of now. Now we can see about what are the benefits we have. So swift market entry. Basically, all those things, what we do in the cloud is to get out of money, right? So how fastly we can get into the market. So based upon analysis, based upon the prediction, how quickly we can get into the market. So setting up all these things in the cloud will take only less time. So it will not take more time because we are just renting the already available system in the cloud. We are not going and setting up all the things in our on-prem. We are just renting the system, which is already available in the cloud platform. So setting up time is totally reduced there and enhanced the collaboration. So with access control systems in each cloud platform, we can able to collaborate with each other only with the surrounding people only. And this is the most important thing: continuous integration and deployment. So if any changes we are getting into the system, so those changes need to be deployed immediately. So this continuous integration deployment available in each cloud platforms, AWS and Azure, GCP, and all these systems and all, we're having the cloud integration system platform. So with that, we can able to deploy all the things which we develop as quickly as possible. So which will be easily get to the market quickly. And next is the cost efficiency, most important thing. So in on-prem system, we need to pay upfront. We might not use some system which we already bought, right? So some storage might not get used, some hardwares, some softwares we might not get used, but we might pay it. And we have to pay rent for the places. There are a lot of expenditure cost we have to pay upfront. But here in the cloud system, we just need to pay only for what we have to use, including the storage, including the process, all services, messaging services, whatever services we are just using, right? All those services, we just need to pay what we have to use. And it also reduces our hardware cost, the energy consumption cost, everything is got reduced here because we are just renting the places, renting the systems from someone's cloud services. So in this way, we can able to reduce the cost. And next is the data security. So everyone might have a question like how my data got built secure, because we are just renting someone's services here, right? So data security here, as I discussed previously, right? Access control system. Each cloud platform is giving access control system. Only the specified users will be able to access the storage, everything there. So all the data, the storages, what all things we have in our data security system, right? It will be very secure. Only the accessible people can able to access it. And the data recovery. So if any data center got accidentally fired, if any issues happened, the same set of data is be cloned in our available regions, which was in the nearby available regions. So there will be no problem in data loss. And immediately data can be recovered from to our primary location part. So disaster recovery and data recovery is very quickly as possible in data security systems here. And next is a scalability. So consider that in on-prem, if you want to increase the hardware or if you want to increase any new more servers and all, right? So we have to pay more and we have to wait for them to get into the market. But here in the cloud, it can be immediately bought without any issues. So we just need to pay what we have to use in the further things. So we may know about the in the warehouse and all, we have the tire and all, right? 1XL, 2XL, 3XL. So those are the size we can able to scale immediately. So we don't want to wait for it to get in the on-prem systems. So these are the main advantages we have over for in the cloud. So now I will hand you over to Mani. So he will talk about our success story.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Vijay and Lakshman, for giving such great insight into the cloud platforms and the tools that are available today. Okay. So we now know that cloud analytics is awesome, but what can we expect to get out of it, like when investing in cloud analytics? So that's what we are going to see now. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to how the business gets benefit out of it, financially. So let's explore that with some of the success stories that I want to share with you. Okay, so I'm going to start with one of our own client, and how we turned their business operations within months after we helped them with analytical solutions. So, our customer came up with a unique problem, and they are a retail execution partner for 64 different big box retail customers like Walmart, Meijer, or Hallmark. So they had a unique problem where they would be tracking a lot of transaction that is happening on their client side, and it's all kind of disintegrated, and it's maintained in service systems. So they want us to, build a small analytical solutions that would integrate all the systems, and they can enrich their operations going forward with implementing the solution. So what we did, so we immediately stepped in, and we involved our technical experts to get into their systems and their requirements, and then they were able to build a quick prototype within 4 weeks, and we were able to deliver a small use case based solution that proved that yes, they can rely on such a system. And they immediately bought that idea, and they let us help them, and we built a scalable data infrastructure and implemented that within 4 months of time. So, and in terms of return of investment, so they were able to start seeing the actual results within weeks after implementing the system in their in terms of how it enhance their operations. Yeah, can we move on to the next one? Okay, so that's all about one of our customers, right? So let's talk about some of the other businesses who had successfully implemented a cloud analytical system to transform their business. So okay, Hopper. So Hopper uses data insights from analyzing data on flight prices. So Hopper is a well-known booking app, and revolutionizing their industry with the help of cloud analytics. So they analyze the data on flight prices, availability, and demand to provide users with a personalized flight recommendation. So it led to higher customer satisfaction levels, and it had earned a 4.8 star rating on the Apple Store, and about 950,000 reviews. So also it had improved their business. It has saved its users close to $3 billion on travel bookings since its launch. On the other hand, so Allbirds, a sustainable footwear company, they had a challenge. So they want to analyze their manufacturing data. They want to analyze their inventory management data and shipping data. So Allbirds was able to identify inefficiencies and make data-driven decisions to reduce costs and improve the efficiency. So this solution had reduced its carbon footprint by 60% and its water usage by almost 95% through more efficient manufacturing process. So one another good example could be wild birds. So it's really flying high. With the help of cloud analytics, this small data chain become a multi-million-dollar company. So this has, it was able to soar their sales, profits, just by analyzing their customer, feedback and data from the past purchases. They were able to figure out a lot of insights that help their business. So that is always something new for customers when they come in store, right? So they were able to do that just by utilizing the data what they got from their customers from the past purchases. So they were able to put something new in the store just by analyzing that, and they will be able to attract the customers. Plus, it also helped them manage their inventory better. So no more customers are left behind. So these are some success stories that you can take it and think about it, how it can transform your business and help you efficiently to get benefit out of it. Yep. Thanks, Vijay. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Mani. Thanks, Vijay. There's a lot of good insights, but of course, we are just touching the surface of the iceberg, right? There's a lot of things are going on in the way cloud data analytics has been adopted, and the way the customers are enjoying their financial benefits out of it. Again, our focus is mostly on the mid-sized business. Hopper is a very classic example of that, wherein they are a startup company, they are an innovation company, and they need to be better because the number of data that they are handling is always higher, and they are an insights-based company. They want to save more money for the passengers who want to spend less money on their flight's journey. So unless they analyze the data, which is millions and trillions of data across the world with all the flights, airlines, countries, and everything, if they don't do a good analysis of that data, they cannot present a better price to the passenger. So then what's a good use of becoming a good innovation company? So for that particular size of company, if they want to set up their own self-hosted system, that's going to take a longer time, and they're going to spend more money. The return on investment is going to be very, very low. So that's definitely a big winner for them. And of course, we talked about our customer who is stepping into the cloud analytics for the very first time. They are in the industry for at least 15 plus years, based on what I heard from the CEO. And they have been good in running their own business process. They've been very good in assisting the retail organizations. If something need to be done in Meijer, if something need to be done in Walmart, the product works really well, assigning the people and helping the seasonal sales activities and all that. But the competition is high, and we saw that, and the financial hardship is so harder these days. So pretty much they need to show the benefit of working with the retail customers, so that they need to understand the data. Okay, you have been on our product for last 10 plus years, and this is the data that we have collected, and on a particular season, this is your efficiency. On this particular season, this is what you have done, and this is how you can save more money. These are the kind of insights that they can try and all that, right? So pretty much their initial adoption of the cloud is a better decision, and they really felt good that they were able to start that. And there are a lot of benefits that there are two things that has to happen. One, both of them are related to cost. One, the cost that they spend on the cloud, and the cost they spend to set it up and configure, build, because cloud doesn't come with its own business process. It is just the resource, and we still need to build it up. So companies like us, QBrainX, we are helping the customers to do that in a very efficient way, but also not a longer cycles, rather the shorter cycles. So this particular slide talks just about that, how QBrainX can assist the small and mid-sized business to monetize their data. Those who have that intention, a small business COO can be thinking about, okay, so can I do something, right? They definitely want to experiment. They want to test the waters instead of just jumping right in. Nobody want to do that. So of course they want to test the waters. So QBrainX has proposed the engagement model of, okay, so start with the proof of concept, 6 weeks proof of concept. I mean, and we do it for free of cost. So pretty much we want them to taste what's coming up from the cloud data analytics. A very simple use case. We cannot build the massive n number of use cases in 4 to 6 weeks, but at least one or two different problems that they can appreciate. Yes, it took lesser time to stand up the infrastructure. It took lesser time to develop. It took a very short amount of time to see the insights. So we wanted them to appreciate that fact with the 4 to 6 weeks of time, and then a rapid delivery of custom built analytics. And we bring a lot of accelerators in the way that we build our our components in the cloud. So we will be having more details on this particular topic in the upcoming webinars as well. So we need to stay efficient for the benefit of customers. We don't want them to Vijay, can you go back to the previous slide? So we want them to stay efficient. Of course, their decision of being on cloud is a better decision, but they also need to appreciate the fact that the vendors who come and develop the cloud components are not charging them too heavy. So we need to stay efficient with that, with the way how we can be more reusable, how we can be more efficient. What are those accelerators? How they can do one thing and then reuse it for the next few pieces. The world is running behind the reusability, and we have to be efficient on that as well. From our exposure, we see that that is not happening a lot. Cloud is a better thing, but the data practice, the build practice is still on legacy. But QBrainX brings this modern thought process of how we can stay efficient in the build process. And then see the data analytics in action. Pretty much within the 4 to 6 weeks of time, we will be able to get their data, process the data, put it in a cloud repository, and show the data analytics in a shorter amount of time. So that's one thing. And interacting with our engineers. So we have seen Vijay talking about it, and he's our data engineer, and we are backed up with an army of data engineers who can bring all this together. Doing efficient things in cloud is an art of possibility. So that doesn't come easily, and our team of data engineers do this really very well. Now we can move, Vijay. So we wanted to see if there are any questions that we could answer, and of course we wanted to see how the businesses are perceiving. And this is definitely not a technical session. This is more of answering the why, answering the how. So if there is a business that want to adopt, and why they have to adopt, so those are the questions that we tried to answer in this small webinar. And as I said, there's a lot more webinars planned in this series, in the Data to Dollar series. We will be getting more granular in all those items that we discussed in this presentation. So more to come, and our intention is to take this message to the small and mid-sized business as much as possible. So if you are, if you are there in QBrainX and working with your customers, propose this idea, and of course we want the customers also to enjoy this. If you are working for a ServiceNow customer or a Salesforce or SAP or digital transformation, of course you can propose this. Or if you are a small business owner and you want to try a few things, and of course QBrainX can help in those engagement models. So now let's see if there are any questions, and we'll be glad to answer this.
So thanks, Lakshmana. So if a customer asks, how do it helps in employee productivity?
The question is how employees can be productive?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so it depends on what business we are talking about. So the employee productivity, for example, let's take a retail company, right? That they have, say, hundreds of stores across the United States, and they want to understand how their salespeople are efficient. So we wanted to understand what kind of data that they provide to the systems. how long they work with the customers for the sales activity and what they're really selling, and then on what kind of season this is being sold, and what is the customer retention, because a customer just stepping in and someone is trying to sell this particular product to them. If you had observed, these are some of the parameters that we need to have that collected. And of course, if in this particular use case, we want the system to collect this data first. Once you have this data collected, of course, it is all about putting this on the cloud and then showing the insights that, okay, how long this particular customer was talking to the salesperson, what is the final sales amount, and how this employee was productive last year, last 2 quarters of last year, compared to these 2 quarters of this year. And we say, for example, this last 2 quarters have less sales. What are those impacting stuff, right? For example, if the product lineup has changed and the store has been rebranding few stuff and the customer sentiment has changed, then the product info that is sitting in the repository will be able to tell us. It is all about bringing the data first. So Vijay talked about bringing the data together as part of the data ingestion, right? So first of all, let's make sure the data is well identified, they are ingested very well, quality is addressed, put them in a repository, and there are a lot of integration patterns that our team follows, and our experts have a lot of proposals to how this can be integrated in an efficient way. Once this is all done, then picking up the insights is it's not harder. So employee productivity in this particular use case happens like that, and of course there are many other productivity patterns in the industry. So each of them will have have their own answer.
Okay, to add to that, thanks, Lakshman. To add to that, so our customer experience is one of like a classic example, right? Like, so we had this customer who have been working with, with their like retail customers. They had an efficiency problem. Their business model works like this. Like they send representatives, they go to these customer places, they work on certain tasks, they track all these metrics, but so it was not done in an efficient way. So what we did was when we implemented our team, when we sent our team, we were able to identify the pain points, what they are going through actually with the lack of efficiency with their employees, and then we were able to use data to answer that. We were able to quickly analyze the pain points and understand the data, and putting them together, we were able to come up with a solution that improved their efficiency. So that's one of a classic example that I can share. Thank you, Prashad. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Mani. So this drives me to another question. Okay. So what are the major challenges you see in the data analysis?
Okay. So when you say challenges, so at the current time, so there's a switch happening from the self maintained systems, or or on-premise systems, that I would say moving from these systems to a new cloud platform where they can help them help a business to scale effectively and use effectively, and make use of it, right? So that's the challenge that's happening at this time. So the change that is supposed to happen, it's not happening at the rate that is expected. That's what I would say, because of the lack of knowledge in the market about how they can utilize this wonderful technology, cloud technology, and all these tools available to do analytics, or even for application building, for anything for that matter. So the lack of knowledge, so that's what is kind of making this change or shift to delay.
Yeah, just want to add the option. How many business to
Lakshman, sorry.
challenge?
Yeah, I think there's a network, so your voice is kind of mumbled.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it better?
No, Lakshman, it is not.
Yes, now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I believe
go
that
on. Go on.
technical issues. Okay. Yeah. Prashad, did I answer your question?
Yes, Mani. Thank you so much for that.
So,
So one of the obvious questions when we are going to migrate the data from our database to the cloud database is the security. So the modern solutions you talked about, the tools, whatever it is, do they have any options for to protect from the unauthorized breaches from hackers? Because there are huge number of data, right? They will be sensitive. So is there any options regarding that?
yeah. Yes. Okay, so the beauty of the cloud is, so most of the infrastructure, security, and all those things are taken care by the providers, right? Like, typically the providers, like, they will be building a robust security, like, system around the cloud infrastructure. So they take care of the security measures and they're making sure they are in place to protect the customer's data, including any type of encryption, access controls, and they do regular security audits to make sure, like, the data is safe and secure. On top of that, they are, like, they have to be in compliant with, for example, like, if they are going to have healthcare related data, they have to have the compliance and security controls for the HIPAA, right? HIPAA compliance. And high trust for any of the, like, federal related stuff, but there is called I think FedServ. So those compliant audits happens, like, periodically, and they have to be on par every year. Actually, they go through this practice. So it is essential for businesses to understand. So their responsibilities in maintaining the data security, and follow all these best practices. So it is already available, through their providers. If they have questions, so they can, we can very well ask QBrainX. They are, like, partners for any business. If they have any questions, we would be able to, like, work together with all this, like, cloud platform providers or toolset providers, and then we can answer all these questions. We are partnered. I mean, we have partnered with Snowflake, Databricks, and we will be able to get their sales team, and we will be able to, like, work together to answer all these questions. Thank you, Bacon.
Yeah, thank you, Mani.
Yeah, so hi guys. So one of my questions is like, how long will it take to implement the cloud data platform, and when can I expect the ROI from the investment? So
Yeah, so Sanjit, so the time duration for creating this pipeline and deploying them in the market, and so this, right? So consider that if you have on-prem data, migrating them from your on-prem to cloud, so creating of the pipelines will not take much time. To be precise, for your system, if you want to create a pipeline from on-prem, it may take a month to create it for dev things. And because we have already have the resources, setting up the things, looking into the use cases, the challenges what you might have in your data system, right? There may be any challenges you can have in your data systems and your data, you might have it. It may be structured or semi-structured or unstructured, anything can be, right? So looking upon those challenges, creating an architecture of the pipeline and doing the development activity must not take a time. If we are working on with a well qualified data engineers of a team, it won't take much time. So maybe a month we can develop it, maybe 2 to 3 weeks for testing it, and then we can immediately go into the production, as we have all of the tools for doing the deployment things as quick as possible. We can able to do that, so it can be easily get into the market. And once it's going to the market, right, and then we can able to see the data analyzations. Based on that, we can able to change the business there. So we'll be giving the insights from the data what you have, and then based on that, we have to take the business decisions from the user end.
Okay, so yeah, to add on top of that, actually, the return of investment is like, it's you cannot really, I mean, you don't have a defined formula to measure it. So basically, so the return of investment in this kind of cloud, implementations can be measured through like improvements in decision making, like, whether it could be, increased efficiency, or like, any cost savings that that is getting, I mean, that the business is getting out of implementing the solution. So that's how they can do it. The only way to do it is like using the results, like the data-driven insights out, by implementing this, cloud-based analytical solution. And implementation time, it would also vary depending upon the complexity of like, of the work, of the like, of what the customer is trying to achieve. So it all depends upon that. Yeah.
Yeah. So on top of that, I have one more question. So what level of technical expertise do you need to maintain this cloud data analytics platform? So we only have experience in for on-premise analytics solutions. So what is the required skills to manage the cloud data analytics?
So, Sanjit, as you said, if a person who's having experience in on-prem or legacy systems, right, they might know that they might not aware about the cloud technologies, but they know about the basics, fundamentals. So, the thing working on the cloud. So, with that knowledge, if they want to move to cloud, right, they can be able to easily grasp the things because there's not a rocket science technology we have in the cloud there. The same things what we have in the on-prem system, the same thing we are going to do, but we are just going and renting the existing resources. So some new things might be new to the thing once they go to the cloud systems, but we don't want to have a separate expertise for the cloud data systems. A person who is already aware about already having experience in the old systems, they can able to easily grasp the things here. They answer
There's
the
a
question,
question in
Sanjit.
the chat. There is a question in the chat from Kamal. If you're done answering that, Vijay, we
Lakshman,
can take
sorry,
over.
Lakshman, your voice is like breaking.
Oh, breaking. Is it better now?
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. So there was a question about how we can use the machine learning models on the cloud data analytics platforms like this. It came from Kamal. So the way I see that is that let's look at the evolution of the machine learning in the whole industry, right? Machine learning lives and breathes on the data. And only when there is a good volume of data sitting, it can make better decisions. And all of us are seeing what Chat GPT does, right? So what Chat GPT does is that it learned a lot more that it could learn and then responding on top of it. If it doesn't learn anything, it cannot respond. It will say, I don't know about this, right? So pretty much apply the same thought process here. When a company want to do their machine learning, they have to first get their data, right? So if you reverse this psychology there, that means the business has to bring in the data, put it on cloud. Then there are many use cases for how the data can be used. Machine learning is one of it. And then your business intelligence can be another, right? So it's all about whether you have integrated your data well, and then is it friendly for the machine learning algorithms. So our customer right now who is working with the large size retail organizations, their ultimate intent is to run the analytics as a machine learning algorithm. They wanted to make sure that if there is a assignment given to a representative, how soon he can start, right? Based on the location, based on the type of work, and how historically this was done. Was it completed in 2 hours or 4 hours? So they want to collect all this data. Only then the machine learning algorithm can look at what has happened in the past, right? So the answer to the question is, if the data is integrated very well, there are a lot of machine learning models that can get the insights. Machine learning models are set on the ground. They have a very set mathematical models to it. They don't change a lot. And in the modern world, the modern technology world, all of them are having the abstract layer wherein you just call the model, but the model would expect to see the data in the backend. So that's where I connect the dots, wherein you collect the data, put it in a right format so that the machine learning models can make use of it.
Yeah. So yeah, the more data that you feed for all this models to train them, so that's the key, right? So that's the way it learns and understands. And with our customers' requirement, right? Like they want to build a knowledge base on how their reps, how their future reps can make use of the knowledge base, from the data that they have collected in the past, and do things fast. Instead of spending 2 hours, how can it be done in 20 minutes if they have a knowledge base? And it's all we are helping. We are trying to build that knowledge base. Yes, with through our data engineering and the analytical solution. Okay, we have time for one more question. Okay, Lakshman, let me ask this question to you. So, how can how it is easy to Swift a move from the or integrating the existing data systems cloud? So, would you be able to help this?
Yeah, yeah, I think existing systems has their own challenge of how they're handled in what kind of infrastructure that it was sitting and in what kind of shape. I think I've seen a lot of examples wherein one of the business user will be managing their data in the email, and the data is just sitting in the email. It is much worse than how the data can be in an Excel. At least it's better to read, consume, and all that. Where and how we can handle the data that is sitting in the email. They'll be sending this data every month because they do something in the backend and the results are sitting in the email, right? So it has the bad side to it. It is also the good side to it. There are some good adoptions wherein the systems are kept right. For example, there could be a mainframe system, or there could be a Fox Pro system 30 years ago. They are much easy to read. They are much easy to transform because they follow the RDBMS methodology and all that, right? So there it is easier, and moreover, the cloud technologies make it easier to understand all the legacy data types. That's one of the greater benefit that they brought, right? So they have wide range of connectors to read from anything in the world, and even the unstructured data, right? So which I was mentioning about, email becomes unstructured data. So if you feed it and then if you model it right, then even you can get that. So these are some of the modern technology advancements are giving to us. But of course, it is not going to be easy. Getting the legacy system into the cloud has a wide and varied different answer based on what kind of systems we are talking about and what kind of business process we are talking about. But things are made easier because this is ever evolving. And of course, in 20-30 years, we are going to see cloud migrating to something else. We are going to talk about the similar transformation journey there also, right? So there's a lot more challenges, but I'm sure the maturity of the product companies like the AWS or Azure and all those, they bring they address this problem somehow. So a quick company overview. So we have found this company QBrainX in 2018, formed by IT veterans, myself and Raj. And we have around 300 plus employees across the region, USA and India. And pretty much we have offices coming up in the other regions as well. And we have clients across the globe, US, United Kingdom, and then EMEA region, and then Asia Pacific region. And we have our experts specific to the verticals such as the retail, healthcare, fintech, and manufacturing. And some of our customers already fall into this bucket. So there is a very good intersection that is happening to get our technical capability with our business knowledge. that's a simple introduction about our company. And then, yeah, thanks for joining us today. And as I was indicating before, this is the first one in this whole series, and we have planned to do more. And the intention for these sessions are to bring more adaptability on the cloud for the mid and small size business. So all the sessions would be more insightful for the businesses who want to adopt. So thanks for your time today, and we will meet you in the next few sessions.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks all for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.